I want to talk about freedom of speech. First Amendment guarantees us freedom of speech. If you're a religious organization, you don't necessarily have freedom of speech. IRS code stops that freedom of speech, and it doesn't allow religious organizations or non-profit organizations to talk about in a political manner. If you're a citizen of the United States, yes, we do have certain free speech rights, but are they protected? No. In my case, they weren't protected. I went to a political candidates rally, Democrats mostly, and he was talking about certain issues. This is early in the primaries in New Hampshire, and was getting a good response for the most part. Some people told me to go away, and others thanked me. The one I recall, it was a woman that held my hand, called me over, and held my hand, saying, "Thank you so much for being out here today. And thank you for giving us another viewpoint and speaking so freely. This is an honest story. This is a true story." And she told me about being in concentration camps where people were imprisoned and treated horribly because they did not have freedom of speech, or they did something wrong in the government's estimation. Maybe they bucked the system. Maybe they didn't fill out the right form. And so, we have people that understand that right of freedom of speech. Now my question is, when we put up these zones, block people off, and allow candidates to walk the same street or the same sidewalk, and they are given a higher priority based on their status, does that guarantee us equal protection under the law? Why are they given such a high status? Because of money? Because of what they say? It's amazing that if you have money and you're running for president, you're going to be protected. Now I know there's things, people, there's been assassinations and things like that. I understand that part. But I don't understand the part of not wanting to be in contact with the president, the people running, and not wanting to be in contact with your constituency. It's all blocked off. You have the right to the sidewalk. But a person speaking out about something else, not in a threatening manner, does not have a right. So we talk about free speech, and as Jeffrey Feiger says, there is no such thing as free speech in America anymore. Because even if you are found to have that right to free speech, even if you make it through the court system, it's going to cost you money to speak freely. So the cops, what they'll do, in certain cases, I'm looking at the Cheney case, I'm looking at the Clinton case, is they will arrest people. And then they'll drop the charges. Because it makes sense, there's no threat. And then, naturally, they get sued. The government gets sued. There was a case where in Washington, D.C., where two people got into a White House party, took off the shirt, and I think it said impeach Bush. They were let go. So my conduct was, compared to these situations, was benevolent. And yet it's the reaction of our local gendarmes to treat you in a rough manner, toss you around. They actually must even hit you. I think they hit you in the chest to the point where you can't breathe. And this is based on free speech. That's the ridiculousness of this. Because you didn't step off or look that way. Now with your hands in the air, what do most people think the hands in the air posture means? Remember the old westerns? Put your hands in the air? Well, you do put your hands in the air, and they arrest people. Arrest people for speaking. And so this is just the start of the demise of our democracy. You know, when we have Bears and Stern being bailed out by the government in a matter of $200 billion, and yet the poor people in America are worrying about their bills, are worrying about paint. Well, worrying about paint, I say because, you know, I have an apartment that needs to be fixed, so I'm one of those poor people. Hope you won't hold it against me. So, in essence, if these cases gain notoriety, they're dropped. ACLU comes in. In our case, the NACLU is impotent. I don't know what they're doing. When you call them up and talk to them, what happens is you get a form, and then they don't respond to the form. You know, what they should be doing is they should be getting their eyes open to see the speech rights violations in our country. For instance, one time I was threatened with having a cop called on me in a government office place because a friend and I were laughing. That's true. Contacted the ACLU, and then they tried to bar us from that building because we laughed. And I welcome them calling the police on me in that case. One time I got told years ago, I was told I was going to be arrested for singing. I'm a bad singer, but singing in the rain. You know that old tune. So the basic concept is, yes, you do have that right to speak out, but it will always cost. And that's not the way it should be. And so we need to, the police, or any other governmental entity, tries to thwart, stop our right to free speech. We need to speak out. Because if we don't speak out, our government will remain the same. It's going to happen to another person, another person, another person. And now we created such things as free speech zones. Another concept. Well, the whole United States of America is supposed to be a free speech zone. Now, when are policemen going to get it in their heads and in their brains that when a person offers no threat, the assumption of threat is in their brains? The assumption, it's all their assumptions about what a person is. He doesn't look the right way, he doesn't sound the right way. So they're cynical. Then because of that cynicism, they go and attack. See, they just don't do something gently. They make sure you know by their physical actions not to do this again. Don't speak out again. And instead, in my case, what they have received is they're going to hear more about free speech. And I wish, you know, these wonderful organizations were out there protecting my right to speak out, because they certainly protected Obama's right to speak out. So as Democrats, those of us who are Democrats, we gotta remember the free speech thing. A kid just was recently expelled from school without due process of law because, now listen to this great reason why we expel people from schools. He complained about the garage that they were building, and he thought it could be used for a better purpose. He goes to his dorm, and finds a note saying that he's been evicted, he's been expelled. Then they showed the free speech zone. The free speech zone wouldn't fit, it was like about the size of your snowplow. This is happening on college campuses. Free speech zones. This is happening, it's going to happen at the Democratic National Convention. Free speech zones. Your right to speak as long as you do it 2 miles away from us. I think it'll lead us in that comment. So these people that are running for government, are they telling you they're going to do something different? Are they really? They don't want to speak to you. They want your money. That's what they want. So, all in all, no equal protection. Obama, Clinton, get to walk the streets. A person like me doesn't get to walk the streets. If they're, you gotta get them. Go back up. We got somebody important here. And that's